So, thank you for joining us this afternoon, and I'm delighted to do this presentation with Emma and Cancer Touch Therapy Training. First of all, Emma, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody? And we'll go through a sort of a series of questions and answers that hopefully will give you the information that you need to.
Fantastic. Hello, everybody. It's really lovely to be here on this call this afternoon. So my name is Emma Williams, and I'm the lead trainer for the Made for Life Organics Cancer Touch Therapy. So I basically take students through our various courses that we have available. In the old days, we used to do them in the classroom, and then more recently, we've taken the training online. So I'll tell you an awful lot more about what the training involves a little bit later on in the presentation, but essentially it's to help therapists to be able to welcome people who are either living with cancer or who have been recently recovered from cancer, to welcome them into their salons and spas without the need for a doctor's consent or a doctor's note before they're allowed to be treated. So it kind of waivers that mystery and that need to have get through around your insurance. So really worthwhile treatments, and again, I'll tell you a little bit more why a little bit later on in the presentation.
It's such a sort of a big issue, isn't it? And I know that the training that we want to deliver out is not just about the protocols of doing the treatment. There's an awful lot around the whole mindset and how the language that you use, and sort of really, as you said, welcoming people into the salon. I think that's what's so important, is that we reduce all the barriers that there are around living with or recovering from cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that I found with this particular training, and just to give you a little bit of a history of me, I've been in the beauty industry for well over 30 years now, trained as a therapist way back when. Spent an awful lot of my career as an operator, both for single sites and multi-site spas. And, you know, like everybody, have had that years and years of refusing people coming into the salons and spas unless they can provide this doctor's note. So when I was doing my research for my teams, I really wanted to find a course that would not only work on a multi-site level, but one which would really inspire confidence in my therapists, because as you know, from going to college, we all learn that cancer is a contraindication, and that's almost where the conversation stops. We don't go beyond, well, why is it contraindicated, or what can you do about it? So I found, by taking my teams through the Made for Life training and then going through it myself, what the resounding result of that was creating confident therapists. Because unlike quite a lot of training that we put beauty therapists on, we cover an awful lot of theory, and in fact the first 12 hours of our online training course that we're delivering now is theory. So we really want people to understand, you know, how does cancer develop, what are the what causes a tumor, what kind of treatments might a patient go through when they're going through cancer. So is it surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy? And then most importantly, understanding what side effects they can create. Because actually, certainly in the early stages of cancer, it might not cause pain and discomfort, but actually chemotherapy has an endless list of side effects and symptoms that can cause people trauma, discomfort, pain, impacts on their life. So as therapists, we really need to understand what impacts those side effects have. And from that, we'll be able to make a really informed decision and have a really detailed conversation with that individual, so we understand how they're feeling today. Are they in pain? Can they lie on their front? Have they lost their hair? And as a result of all that information and knowledge that the therapists will then have, having gone through the training, they'll be able to make a very good decision about what treatment's suitable for that individual on that particular day, taking into account all those different side effects and symptoms that they might be experiencing, which might be different on one visit to another. So the way that we describe the training is that we very much want to encourage a thinking therapist. So as much as we will train protocols of the various treatments that we offer, we almost give them a toolbox, if you like, of different treatments that they can then handpick and then create a really beautiful and effective therapy for that individual on the day. And that could be a different treatment each time. I think the other thing that I very much found from my own training and then the training of my other therapists was confidence, because again, going into a consultation and having a conversation with somebody who is maybe going through cancer, it's a really, if anybody's, you know, sadly ever experienced it themselves or know people that are going through cancer, it's an incredibly traumatic time in their lives. So I think having therapists that have a good amount of knowledge, which is pitched at a level of a therapist, you know, it's very much for people that have done anatomy and physiology level 3. So, you know, we talk about body systems and muscles and bones and everything else like that. But it's giving them the confidence to have an informed conversation and a empathetic conversation, if you like, with that client, and then deciding how to treat them. And as well as the physical side effects of somebody going through cancer, we also talk about the emotional and mental impact that it might have as well. So again, you know, we understand that you might be going through some physical difficulties by going through cancer, but you know, the mental stress is unimaginable, really. So it's very much about giving the therapists that go through the training, the tools and the know-how and the confidence to be able to look after that person completely when they're having a treatment in their spa or salon.
And I suppose what we're also wanting people to do is actually to create a network for therapists where they have got that communication with other therapists, because you know, we all know that it's ever so lonely when we're working as a therapist. And if you do have a client that is having a particularly bad day, it impacts you as well. And your friends and your family don't understand. They can't possibly get it from your point of view. And we absorb a lot of the things that come from our clients. So to create a network of other therapists that have been through the training, that understand what you're going through as a support network as well, I think is really important as well.
It is, absolutely. And Made for Life as an organisation, and they themselves have a charitable branch as well. We have a network through Facebook and forums where we connect people. We also very much encourage, we obviously talking to Louise about working with the Phoenix Group, and we work with other larger organisations as well, where we can make sure that therapists are able to stay connected and have a somebody or a group of people that they can go to talk about the different experiences that they have. But I think another important element of the training, just to share with you as well, is we do a really key module on self-care. And it's very much about encouraging self-care for the individual client or guest that you're looking after, but also self-care for the therapist as well. Because as you quite rightly say, Louise, we absorb an awful lot from clients. You know, they tell us everything, some things that they perhaps wouldn't even share with their nearest and dearest. So it's really important, particularly in these kinds of treatments, that you have time to recover yourself, if you like, from giving these treatments. And you know, we do get people coming on the course that are incredibly holistic and talk about this this idea of absorbing negative energy or feeling very, very drained after treatments. But we teach therapists various techniques to help combat against that, and just very much talk about therapist well-being as well, because therapists are very, very hardworking people, and again, I don't think many people understand how physically and mentally challenging it can be, and particularly in these times now, we're having to be masked up and visored up and goodness knows everything else. So you know, another important element of the training is just really creating that balance of, yes, we want you to be able to look after clients safely and well and confidently, but it's also massively important that you're looking after yourselves as well.
Fabulous. So what we need is we need people to actually assess the skills that they will learn. So this program is assessed in two ways. It's assessed through knowledge, and that knowledge will be assessed as we go along through question and answer sessions. But Emma will also be able to assess the development through the input of the conversation, because there's going to be no more than 10 learners in each of the online groups, so it's quite a small cohort. But then the practicality needs to be assessed as well. So this is where we need your help, and we need good assessors that are able to provide assessment opportunities for the practical side. So it doesn't have to be an assessor that is really experienced with cancer touch therapy treatments, because that's what we're going to put you through, is the training of the core knowledge and experience. And then we're going to give you some time to go out and actually go on your own little development journey, so that you can use these treatments on people, so that first of all you get really comfortable with the protocols of the treatment. That's important, but also that you use to start to have conversations with people who are going through or recovering from cancer, because the whole communication aspect with somebody is really key, and then we can then start to put them together. And then there'll be a practical training day where we will come together in Essex and have the actual sort of assessors training day, where Emma will put you through the protocols of actually how to run an assessment centre protocol. So you don't have to do the delivery at the moment. We're not asking you to suddenly become somebody who knows everything. Emma's the one that knows everything about the treatments at the moment, but we would be looking for the first line is to become an assessor, to accredit the CTT accredited or endorsed qualification, but then to go on your own journey to potentially become an ambassador for the whole organisation and join Emma, because she's not going to be able to cope with the demand that there will be for all these people, these therapists that actually want to get good training in cancer touch therapy. So
yeah, I think one of the really exciting prospects here, and particularly with Louise being one of the pioneers of this idea of the assessor role, we've taken this training online, which has been hugely successful, and as I mentioned, there's a lot of theory to learn, and that will be the same in a classroom as well. The treatments themselves are incredibly simple to do, and with some practice of the protocols, and we have videos and everything, people become very proficient in them very, very quickly. I know that, just as a bit of an aside, I know that we are very much talking about welcoming people with cancer. That's kind of the lead and the reason why many people join the training. But actually, these treatments are fantastic for anybody who needs de-stressing. So they're incredibly slow and incredibly rhythmical, and it's called light touch therapy. So what the idea, if I could just go a little bit technical and just explain what we're trying to do with them. What we're trying to do is to tap into somebody's parasympathetic state. And if you remember from your sort of your sort of biology training, if you like, the parasympathetic is when the body is in its optimum state. So your heart rate is slow, your breathing is slow, and that's when your body functions to its max. So your digestive system is working properly, your immunity is at its best, reproductive systems are working well. So that's parasympathetic. When the body's in a stress state, or the sympathetic state, that's the fight or flight, and that's when the cortisol and the adrenaline is coursing around the bodies, and that's when all those body systems just slow right down, because literally you're ready to fight or flight. The idea around these treatments is to slow down that sympathetic state and get the parasympathetic state to kick in. So if I go back to that level of people's stress, which people are stressed, they're stressed anyway, but they're even more stressed now with the pandemic and everything else. If we can tap into somebody's parasympathetic state and get that deep relaxation, almost like a meditative state, they will instantly get an immune boost. So their immune system will start working properly, their digestive system will start working properly. And we've done some clinical trials actually with Plymouth and Exeter University, when we've done before and after tests on people, and we've found that by getting that parasympathetic state into play, it has all sorts of huge beneficial health effects, if you like. So as much as these treatments are absolutely fantastic and safe for people who are living with cancer or are recently in remission, they're good for anybody that has mental health issues, that has anxiety, that has stress, that has PTSD. So it's very much a treatment that's good for anybody. So just going back to the training then, if you were thinking that this is something that interests you, we take you through the Cancer Touch Therapy course as is. So you'll learn all the theory, you'll learn the treatments, and you would get your qualification as if you were going to be a therapist that was going out there to deliver the treatments. The next stage as to becoming an assessor is when you would do another day's work with me. We tick off your practical assessment, so we'd give you the endorsement that you're able to treat. But then the next stage is giving you all the tools that you need to be an assessor, and that's to mark the theory paper, which is very simple. It's either right or wrong. And then also how to assess somebody else doing the treatment. And that's just a set of different protocols, which is either yes, they've achieved that protocol, or no, they haven't. And that takes a therapist through everything from the initial consultation with their client. So you'd watch somebody doing their consultation and understanding how that conversation went. You would assess somebody on their treatment plan. So as a result of having this conversation with my client, I'm going to recommend this treatment plan. And then you would observe them delivering the treatment. And again, there's different techniques and areas that we would look for you to see if there's evidence of them showing those techniques, and then it's simply they've either passed to the level that you feel happy with, or they need a little bit of work. And what we, as part of your training, we would talk about how do you get somebody from not quite there to there. So that's the kind of complete course, if you like, that we're talking to you about today, to get you through the course, but then also to become an assessor for the course. And I think, as Louise quite rightly says, that's where we need the support, if you like, to be able to make sure that we can see as many therapists as possible and get them through this training so they can welcome people into their salons and spas.
So the practical the theory online will be 6 weeks of 2 hours. It'll be a Wednesday morning between 10 and 12, and it will start on Wednesday the 3rd of March. So that will run for the 6 weeks. The practical day, well, who knows? But it's more likely to be on a Monday. We can organise accommodation for those people that are travelling, some way. So don't worry about that. And it will be at our centre. We've got a maximum of 8 places. And we have already booked 4. So we have only got 4 places left for this round of our training, and the cost is £500. Now that £500, first of all, can be paid in 4 instalments of £125, if that makes it easier, because I know it's a very difficult time for so many people. That includes all of the training, all of the certification, which is a CIBTAC endorsement, and it also includes some products as well. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, just an amazing opportunity for you to then be able to go on and act as an assessor. Now, you don't have to have your own assessment centre or training centre to be able to do this, because there are lots of spas, there are lots of other training organisations that we would help you go into. So, for instance, if there was a training organisation that was fairly close to you that didn't offer this training, then there's no reason why you can't work in partnership with them and be a visiting assessor to use that as an assessment site. So that's all part and parcel of the training that we'll give you to market yourself as an assessor, to increase your business opportunity, really, as well as doing good things. And we will be holding more sessions throughout the year. So this isn't a one-time only offer. It's the first of many, I hope, that we will be able to roll out throughout our journey together, really.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to check is there anything else you wanted to say? I'm just going to check the Facebook page and just see if there's any.
I think one of the beauties of online, and it's something that Amanda Winwood, the founder, and myself sort of found ourselves creating back last summer, when we realized that we were perhaps going to be unable to do classroom-based training for a little while. I suppose the beauty of it is we can talk to anybody, and the courses that we've been running since last summer, we've had delegates from Scotland, from Cornwall, from London, all on the same call, and we've been able to deliver the training. I think where we really would benefit from people such as yourselves is if because the practical side it's practical at the end of the day. We need to have competent therapists that can go out there and confidently deliver these treatments. And I think that by having centres around the UK where they or assessors around the UK that they can be connected with once they've done the online training just means that it ticks a really important box, I think, in terms of their treatment delivery. Now, as well as delivering training through Louise and Phoenix, we also run our own academies through Made for Life. So again, we have people joining us from all over the UK. To be able to say to them, actually, to complete your final assessment, we'd like to put you in touch with an assessor in your area. And if that's you, we can be, as well as finding your own delegates and learners, it'd be really fantastic for us to be able to guide people to you as well, so that they can come and have their final box ticked, if you like, on their practical assessments. It's an area that's local to them. So I think that it's just a win-win for all of us, really.
Yeah, it is. Fabulous. Well, thank you so much, Emma. I know that there are going to be people that are watching this that have got specific questions and how potentially it could work for them. So I think the best thing to do is to have that as a private conversation. We've obviously got a few people that are on the call at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording, and then we will have that conversation with the people that are in on the Zoom call now. But if anybody is watching this as a playback and would like to have that conversation with Emma or myself, or just Emma, that's absolutely fine. Then the best thing to do is to get in touch. And I'm going to, when we finish recording, I'll put the jot form links. They are scattered throughout this group anyway, but there's a process of giving out information. So first of all, I've got a nice PDF that you will be able to get a certain amount of information, and then if you then want to take it to the next stage, we can look a little bit more in detail. So as far as qualifications are concerned, you need to be a practicing therapist. You have to be at a level 3 with body treatments and anatomy and physiology. You don't have to be a qualified assessor, because we're going to give you the techniques and skills that you need to assess what you need to assess. Okay, you don't have to have an assessment site. We can put you in touch with other salons and spas and other training organisations that want to host the assessment site activity. So there's maximum flexibility, really. Okay, so thank you ever so much, Emma, and hopefully I'll be speaking to a lot more of you at some time soon.
Yeah, no, thank you. Nice to see you all. Thank you.